We're right here in New York right now. Look at the Empire State Building right there, guys. I really can't make this shit up. Look at it. They have no idea, guys. They're gonna release an 18 garrison. Do you know it's turned them into a zombie from the 2020 along with the blue lights over there, guys. Tartaria technology right there. You know that building is doing something, guys, and I really can't make this shit up right now, guys. There is no World Trade Center, but we can't even look at this. Masonic Hall. They're not even trying to hide it, guys. They're not even trying to hide it. They're really doing it. Look at it right there. You know, tell me that's not something suspicious at all about that. Look at that.
Jesus was Yeshua. That was his name, Yeshua. This was a real person that existed. Some people are like, oh, he was just an imaginary person. No, no, no. There's a lot of evidence that he actually existed. He lived, he breathed, he had blood in his veins. He was a walking man, M-A-N. It wasn't some type of a flying guy with wings on his back. He was a man. He came through a womb. Here's what's interesting, though. There was a little something different about this guy. The fact that he was a virgin birth. But when I looked deeper in to see, well, maybe this was a mistake or maybe it was a mistranslation, I found through the Apocrypha text that his grandmother was also a virgin birth. Now this is really interesting. So we see this established bloodline here where through the grandmother comes his mother and then through his mother comes him, both through in vitro fertilization. This is advanced technology. Someone purposefully did this.
Have you ever heard of the Anunnaki? These ancient beings from Mesopotamian mythology have been the subject of much fascination and debate in recent years. But what if I told you that some people believe the Anunnaki were real and may have actually played a role in human history? According to this theory, the Anunnaki were a group of extraterrestrial beings who came to Earth thousands of years ago. They were said to be highly advanced, possessing knowledge and technology far beyond anything humans of that time could comprehend. But what did they want with us? Some believe that the Anunnaki were responsible for creating humanity, using genetic engineering to create a hybrid race of humans and their own species. Others believe they simply visited Earth to mine for resources, and may have even taught ancient civilizations like the Sumerians advanced techniques like agriculture and metalworking. While there is no concrete evidence to support the existence of the Anunnaki, their legend has persisted for centuries. Whether they were real or simply a myth, their story continues to captivate and inspire those who seek to understand the mysteries of our past.
Did humans really evolve? I'm sure you have a question like this. Where did we come from? How did the earliest humans come into existence? According to the current Darwinian theory of evolution, the ancestors of all life on Earth were born 3.85 billion years ago from the simplest single cell, evolving step by step, eventually evolving into complex multicellular life, and that about 540 million years ago. During the Cambrian period, the Earth saw its first biological explosion. The oceans were filled with all kinds of life. With the arrival of the Great Extinction Event, marine life began to move onto land and evolved into amphibians, reptiles, and primitive mammals. The turning point for humans was 65 million years ago in the Cretaceous. Late in the Cretaceous, a 10-kilometer-long asteroid struck the Earth as the dinosaurs were unable to adapt to the post-catastrophe environment and gradually became extinct, while some small mammals and some insects survived the event. And it was these small mammals that survived over a long period of time, formed dozens of different archaea, and one of them is a branch called the southern apes. About 450 years ago, southern Archaeopteryx began to diverge from other apes and took different evolutionary paths from then on. In the evolutionary chart, southern apes evolved into Homo sapiens and Homo erectus, and later Homo sapiens, eventually becoming the current human species. But the theory of evolution, many scholars have questioned. If humans evolved from evolution, then dozens of species of protozoa, including humans, why did only one species of ape evolve into modern man? And what about the hundreds of thousands of years gap? What about the gap of hundreds of thousands of years? It was during this gap that human intelligence developed by leaps and bounds. In this regard, many scientists have also pointed out that humans have shown a high degree of maladaptation and mismatch with the Earth's environment. For example, other species can be exposed to sunlight for long periods of time, but not humans. In contrast to other species, human hair can grow indefinitely. According to the evolutionary theory of environmental adaptation, human skin should adapt to changes in the environment, but strangely enough, human skin is neither cold tolerant nor is it heat resistant. Compared to other species. Humans, they are also more prone to disease, and humans have a very intelligent mind but is matched with an extremely weak body. So far, the human brain is still far from developed. Much of this is due to the body not being able to cope with the amount of energy the brain uses. The mismatch, it has been suggested by many that humans did not evolve but are the product of a higher civilization, or that we are extraterrestrial immigrants. In this regard, do you prefer to believe in Darwinian evolution or alien civilizations? Feel free to give your opinion.
What's a conspiracy theory that absolutely blows your mind?
That human beings are not actually human because we all have different types of alien DNA within us. This is something I personally believe. Hear me out. The theory is that when the Earth was found, it was actually found by different races of aliens. And the way the human race was come to form was because we were manipulated genetically and we actually are from them. You want to get really wild with it? Some of us are aware of this ET DNA, and it acts as a transmitter to the cosmos. And we can actually communicate with our star brothers and star sisters. To take it a step further, these beings are thousands and millions of years beyond us. And some of us can tap into that DNA and get superhuman powers as a result. The wildest one. As a result, these beings are our family. And some say this year they were trying to make a reunion with us. If this resonates with you, sound off in the comments, tell me your stories. And click the plus sign. I got a whole lot more on aliens coming up.
What if humans are actually aliens? Sounds absolutely crazy, but hear me out. Dr. Ellis Silver, who has studied evolution, believes that the origin of humans is not from Earth. In his book, Humans Are Not From Earth, he claims that we were brought here tens of thousands of years ago by aliens, and Earth could actually be some kind of galactic jail. According to Silver, even after humans are the most evolved and intelligent species on Earth, humans are still ill-equipped to live on Earth. He points out that humans cannot bear excessive sunlight, how the number of chronic diseases is high, and how humans have developed a strong dislike for naturally occurring foods. Furthermore, there is not even a single person on Earth who is 100% healthy without any unstated condition or disorder. He theorized the reason why most people have bad backs, which is because human species were adapted to a planet with a lower gravity than that of Earth. It is also believed that humans are far more advanced when compared to other species on Earth. We could have come from a planet where a number of species were similarly advanced. Perhaps that's even the reason we left, to go and rule elsewhere. Amazed by this theory? Then check out our channel, where we answer questions like
piece. In December of 2017, I was hearing this in an unclassified setting with other people from academia and 2 CIA officers whom I recognized. So the second part is about CIA's interest in alien DNA. And the historian said that we had an interest in alien DNA going back since World War II. Now, didn't say that they completely knew about the alien DNA genome, because that technology did not happen until the 1990s. But there was an interest in some aspect of genetics.
Yes, absolutely.
Dealing with alien DNA. And more profound was that CIA was interested in certain humans that may have had an enhancement of this alien DNA. That is to say that basically we're all aliens in some respect. But some of us, some humans, have an enhancement of that alien DNA. And that was the first time I ever heard that. To me, that was the most shocking thing I ever heard of. I didn't know that.
Why were they so interested in the DNA of extraterrestrials and the DNA of humans that may contain extraterrestrials for maybe enhancements? I don't know.
There's a cognizance, I believe, within the intelligence community, particularly CIA, that there are humans among us that might be more extraterrestrial than human. And how do you identify them? That could be a major factor in why they were interested in that. And there's also the, I guess you would call contact tracing of like who's who.
Right.
And so what they did reveal that there was an interest in certain families.
How would you understand families?
I understand families to mean bloodlines.
Right.
That they were interested in certain bloodlines going back to
ancient times.
Who knows, ancient times.
Did they mention other heritages around the planet that through this marker?
I was specifically told that the Cherokee heritage, the Cherokee Nation, had something to do with the phenomenon. And furthermore, that it has something to do with perhaps even the actual existence of Atlantis, that they may have been survivors of Atlantis.
I've always speculated that aliens could potentially be us in the future, because if you look at like the size of their heads and the fact that they have very little muscle and they don't use their mouth anymore, they have this tiny little. I mean, the archetypal alien that you see in like Close Encounters of the Third Kind, they're like if you went from like Australopithecus or ancient hominid to us, what's the difference? Less hair, less muscle, bigger head, and then you just keep going. 1,000, 1,000,000, whatever year, or 5 years, whatever happens when Neuralink goes online, and then we slowly start to adapt to this new way of being, where we don't use our muscles anymore. We have this gigantic head. We can talk without words.
You could also save state. And
Save state?
Save state, like save your brain state, like a saved game in a video game.
Whoa. like if you want to swap from Windows 95 to like you
probably a little better than that, but yeah.
I think we are Windows 95 right now.
Yeah. From a future perspective, probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you could save state and restore that state into a biological being if you wanted to in the future. In principle, there's like nothing like from a physics standpoint that prevents us. Now, you'd be a little different, but then you're also a little different when you wake up in the morning from yesterday, and you're a little different. In fact, if you say like you 5 years ago versus you today, is quite a big difference.
Yes.
So you'd be substantially you. I mean, you'd certainly think you're you.
But the idea of saving yourself and then transforming that into some sort of a biological state. Like you could hang out with 30-year-old you.